Hi, Neil. Afternoon to you. My name is Nicolette. I am the creator for the podcast titled You're Worthless. Read that again. Juxtaposition of your very soul. First off, thank you very much for saying yes to be interviewed today and for reaching out. I think whatever that you've written on your profile resonates so much to the values that I have also cultivated within myself. And also, to be honest, my podcast talks a lot about self worth, and it's in tandem with the spiritual journey that I've been on since 2019. So, welcome, Neil.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Like self-worth, self-worth is like self-possession. It's becoming truly yourself. That's the thing. And I know this because, my story is your story. It's every one of our stories. We're born into the world, and like children, children were happy and playful and sharing and caring, and we're expansive and expressive, but then eventually, we become inverted, and then we turn inwards, and then we repress and retract and constrict ourselves, and then that's where we lose our self-worth because we become isolated. And when we isolate, we struggle. And why is that? Because it's unnatural. We're supposed to be connected. We're supposed to do things together.
Yes.
It's no wonder we have all these problems, is because everything we're doing is unnatural.
And we're going against the current instead of just following the flow. I'd like to read a bit of your introduction to our listeners today, and then we can get on with our conversation.
Let's do it.
So hi everyone, we have Neal Fisher here. The mission is to build the nation and to build the future. So Neal lost 8 years of his life because of poor financial decisions that led to a mountain of debt. In his words, these poor financial decisions were a result of his immature grandiosity and poor daily habits. At the same time, he found himself divorced and completely out of shape. Every problem under the sun has the same singular source, conflict or flaws within the mind. His mess was a result of flawed character. He eventually surmounted these challenges and resolved his internal division by unifying his mind and body. And that is by bridging the gap between the conscious and the subconscious to yield the ultra-conscious. His job is to help people uncover their true individuality and strength, to become free in spirit no matter what the physical circumstances may be. The best path is a fusion of form and intellect, skill and substance. How you become a unified man. Wow.
Well read.
Wow. Before we go straight into business, could you share with us what was it like growing up as Neal Fisher?
Well, it was pretty damn good. I'm one of those lucky people. Seriously, I am one of the most luckiest people that have ever lived on this whole planet ever, because I had a great childhood. I had, mum and a dad that were together. Both were a loving mum, a loving father. They weren't perfect, don't get me wrong, but it was a stable unit. Like, dad went to work, mum raised the kids, very traditional.
Yeah.
We grew up in the rainforest in North Queensland, so we didn't have all this crime and all these ratbag influences. We just lived in a small coastal town, literally in paradise, literal paradise. Beautiful mountain ranges full of rainforest and freshwater creeks, and coastal islands and reefs that we used to camp on all the time. So it was, it was perfect. I didn't see that during my turmoil years.
Yeah, exactly.
You got the blinkers on, and I see
true.
now that, and I was lucky, and I was blessed with so many gifts, like smart, funny, charismatic, all of those things. Like, I could be the biggest class clown, which I always was, and I'd still top the grades. I'd still top the class. So I was so blessed and am so blessed. And that's why I do this, because I'm not going to waste a single fucking piece of my talent that I've been born with. But I didn't always see it like that way. And I didn't, especially in the teenage years. Nobody escapes their teenage years unscathed.
Yeah.
That's when the drugs start. That's when the social anxiety starts.
Yeah.
All this, that's when the bullying starts. That's when all of the crap really begins. These days it happens younger and younger because social media is neutral. But these days, because people that grow up with it literally brainwashes. So young kids, they don't get a chance to be themselves because they're already being digitally imprinted. But that's another story. But the point is, I had all these gifts, but then they're all taken away. Because I started to throw them away. That's what happened. And then now, all these years later, beautiful thing is, Nick, is you don't ever lose any of these talents, any of these natural drivers, any of these personality traits, all of your true power. You never ever lose it. It just goes dormant. And the longer you leave it dormant, it just takes a longer process to uncover it if you're willing to go through that process.
That's true. And oftentimes, if let's say, okay, the universe is always, to me, because I believe there's a higher power. So there's always gonna be something like, okay, they've given you a time, or they're gonna be lessons that you've never learned from it, and you're gonna be given that lessons again and again until you wake up. And then once, if you don't, something's gonna happen, and the universe somehow will pull you, and okay, come on, you have to do this already. Stop wasting time. So and again, yeah, and it comes back to the very natural instinct or talents that you have since you were a kid. Like you said, it's all dormant. It's about remembering, right? The word remembering. You're piecing the pieces back together. So yes, I love this kind of conversation. So Neal,
yeah. I was gonna say, like you said there, I'll just make sure you remember your question. You just said then you believe in a higher power. Here's something that people really need to understand is that life isn't a matter of belief, it's a matter of awareness. It doesn't matter what you believe, there is a higher power. There is a universal animating source. What are you aware of? People, belief, when you say you believe in something, it's like it's something airy. It's like a intangible concept. But awareness is absolute because ultimately that is what our whole conscious perception is awareness and attention.
Yeah.
So when you know that, when it happens, and the other thing, you said we're given a timeline to learn these lessons and fulfill these dare I say destiny within, fulfill this life's path that you've been given, the whole reason you're here. Another podcast, someone asked me, how did you make that change? How did you pull yourself out of all this crap and get there? I said, I didn't do anything. I was forced to do it. And that's what happened. I knew I was coming.
I'm in that timeline right now. I've been pushed out. I've been asked to vacate my role. Like, okay, Nick, enough.
It gets asked nicely. You get asked nicely. The universe subtly.
Oh my God.
Subtly.
Yes.
And then you ignore it, and you know, but knowing doesn't mean shit. But eventually you get forced to do it.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Okay, so what is a unified man, Neal?
A unified man is clear. A unified man is in control. Unified man is exactly that. Unified. Every single aspect of your being is in alignment and has one singular direction. And that direction is your life's purpose, your life's goal, your deepest abilities being activated here on this physical plane, on this planet. The reason we have so many problems and so much distraction and turmoil on this planet is division. Every single problem on this whole world comes back to one singular source. Whether it's a brutal dictator, whether it's an environmental catastrophe, whether it's a broken family, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, all of them have the same source. And it all comes back to the individual, and it comes back to the individual and the division within themselves, within their identity, within their physiology, and within their spirit. So the whole process of becoming a unified man or a unified woman is aligning all of those processes, body, mind, and spirit, so that you are in proper resonance again. Because that's it. We have a distorted resonance because we're torn in so many different directions. That's why nothing ever lines up. That's why nothing works for us, because our attention is just being stolen and given away to so many sources. So a unified man or a unified woman has given up and consolidated all those things that steal their attention and brought their entire being back into alignment. The way a human being was born and how we're supposed to be.
I love when you pointed out control. So it's like it's the other it's a balance scale. Like the way I look at it, it's a scale as well. In control when you need to be in control, but letting go when you need to let go. I mean, I love that. Like I used to be an overachiever, I would say, because of societal conditioning, or I must do this because I need to achieve this yet. And then until I experienced burnout myself. So, and I again was going against the current, and it's exhausting. It is exhausting trying to prove yourself. It is exhausting trying to be somebody else other than yourself. And I love the idea of just coming back, sitting with yourself, coming back to the source. Like we come from the source, so we will eventually return to the source. So why? And again, to your point, we're all connected. Divide is what for what? Why? Because of, intrinsic agenda, all those things that's happening right now. So this is just me.
Sure. And like you say, you're out there trying to do all these things, trying to make all these things happen, because that's out of a ego manifestation or ego control. I mean,
exactly.
life is full of paradoxes, right? You need to have control. You need to have control of yourself, right? You need to have control of what you put in your body. Like,
true.
You got to start with the basics. If you can't control what you put in your body, you're not ready for anything else. Everybody wants to be some spiritual guru or a billionaire or some global leader, but they can't even resist a donut. They can't even stop putting a chicken nugget in their face.
Ice cream.
An ice cream, right? So if you can't get that basics under control, you're not ready to do anything else, because no one's going to trust you because you don't trust yourself. No one's going to listen to you because you don't listen to yourself. That energetic frequency is transferred. And whether people realize it or not, there is a blockage there. There is a repulsion because you're full of crap. And you might not realize it because that's just the nature of all these layers that we need to shed away and to peel away so you can actually be clear and have that clarity. But other people will feel that. They might not understand. It's like when you get a gut feeling. There's something about that person. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. The beauty is you don't have to know what it is. You just have to know that they're no good.
Yeah. Yes. That's
and coming back to what you said about the letting go, this is my big long way to get towards the paradox. You have to get that control. Once you get that control of all of your aspects of your life, then you get that clarity. Okay.
Yes.
And then once you have that clarity and control, then you have to let go.
Yeah. I love it. You brought it bring circle. Yeah.
But not before that. Everyone's like, I just have to let go, man, and go with the flow. It's like, no.
Yes.
You're not ready. You're not ready. You need control. You need structure.
Exactly.
You need a regime and discipline. Then you can go with the flow. Because you will be aligned with the flow. Right now you're not. You're sideways. You're like a boat bashing against the rocks. When you get that control, then, because here's the thing, you can only go with the flow when you can feel it, when you can hear it, when you can feel its intuitive guidance. If you haven't got that clarity, you're not going to know what it's talking about. You're going to mistake your intuition with your feelings. There's a big difference between intuition and feelings. Like, your feelings are powerful, don't get me wrong, but intuition is way more subtle. Like, you might just have a feeling about a situation, but that's only because you made a judgment or a conclusion or an entire internal dialogue that you're not even aware of, that's resulting in your experience of the circumstance. Whereas the intuition will be a pull. It'll be like a yearning that will
that's the word.
That will pull you in a direction.
Yeah.
Whereas a feeling is like, oh, I don't feel good about this, or I feel great about this. Big difference. So
I like that. I like that. It's like yearning and then being pulled into a direction, not knowing that whether you're gonna make it or not, but somehow you just feel like I need to be here. I should be here.
I'll tell you what, I just gotta fix my seat because
sure.
I'm falling off my own seat here. But you're gonna love this part. You're gonna love this. Wait till you hear this. Right? There's a reason why the intuition, it's so hard for us to grasp onto, because it's not rational. It's beyond. It's the deeper.
Yes.
It's the deeper intelligence, right? It's like this, right?
It's not rational. It's like it's nothing that I've ever encountered before, but somehow something is just saying you need to go here. But why? I've never done this. Like,
oh, you're gonna love this. Wait till this part. It's a matter of the chicken and the egg, right?
Yeah.
So what came first? The chicken or the egg? I'll tell you, the egg, because there was eggs before there was chickens, and the same goes with the rational mind and the deeper intuitive intelligence. The deeper intuitive intelligence is what drives everything. The 40 trillion, chemical, biological, physiological reactions that are happening every single second that keeps a human being living. Everything that's keeping all the microbes in the atmosphere around us, all the plants, trees, animals, that same intelligence came first, even before the earth existed. Rational thought is a derivative of that. So it's secondary. It has nowhere near the power, the truth, or the intelligence that intuition has. So, furthermore, the rational mind is based in the physical realm. So it's looking at things objectified. So it wants point A, it wants point B. It wants from start to finish. It wants completion of a cycle. So when we rationally try to plan something, we try to think 5, 10, 15 steps ahead. I'm going to plan 10 years ahead. Plan 10 years ahead. That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Exactly. Oh my God. When I think about it, I did that plan
of course, have a direction, but to piece by piece, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Seriously. And here's the full circle, right? Here's why it's so hard to follow intuition, is because intuition is based in presence. It's based in the true nature of reality, which is this sacred present moment. Time is an illusion. Past, present, and future. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously in this moment. If you can quieten your mind and actually let go of all of your preconceptions and actually get to this point. Now, that's the place where this intelligence operates from. So when you're following your intuition, it's so scary because it's unknown, because it's only giving you the next step, the present step, the thing you have to do right now in this moment, because that's all that's relevant. It can't give you the next step.
Oh my
it's
God,
not going to give you. It's not going to. It's not going to give you what tomorrow's step. It's not going to give you this
Neal.
afternoon. Yeah.
I was already worried. This month, okay, I know I need to do this. I need to start my own practice. But what if I don't see that?
How?
What if? See that what
How,
if?
why,
What
how?
if? What if I'm already thinking okay, I need to go seek for help. And then when I catch myself operating from a fear base, I'm like, okay, no, I go back to my intuition, but this is what is right. And then I start to flip it back to, okay, I'm operating from a space of love. Okay, why am I doing this for? What am I doing? Why am I starting my own practice? That's to raise the spread the awareness, help people, whatnot. So I'm like, okay, and then you coming back and telling me this, it's like, okay, universe, enough. I got you, okay?
Yeah, no, it's okay. Internal dialogue enough. That's the rational mind fighting back because it wants that control. It's trying to how, why.
Yeah,
Don't worry about that
exactly.
crap. The intelligence that gave birth to you, and I mean the real birth, not the birth that your mother did, the real
parents,
birth.
Yeah, the real birth.
That has already taken you this far. And the fact that it's you're hearing it, what it's going to tell you to do now, that intelligence will take it all the way. You're the problem you're going to get in the way and say hi, how, where, what, when, and you're going to stuff it up. All you have to do is right now in this moment. And then once you complete that step, you'll be in the next moment, and then it will give you the next piece of the puzzle, the next direction to move. Because now it's time for it. Because you've completed what's relevant in this moment, and then in the next moment, okay, here's the next step. Step number 6 is irrelevant because that's not this present moment.
Wow. Wow, Neal, thank you. Okay, I'm living this. I think the world is awakening. I mean, there's one side of the spectrum still, there's sleep, but on the other side, it's waking up. Whew, I love what I do. Okay. So Neal, what put you on the path of becoming unified man? What is your story?
A necessity, really. It was in a nutshell, I went through the beautiful childhood, and then the pain of teenage years where you go through the shadows, the darkness, the uncertainty, the lack of direction, the drugs, the alcohol, the stigmas, just all the bull crap that everyone has to deal with.
I know.
in adolescence, the bull crap that just twists you, and then you take all these like trauma identities with you, and you lock onto all these stories and all these perceptions, and just you lock onto all this just turmoil, just bullshit, really, to be honest with you. And then from there, so I busted out of that. I had like my first, like, well, not awakening, but like split decision where I got lightning bolted. Is one day I was about 15 or 16, and I realized I don't even remember what happened for the last 3 months. Has it been 3 months? What's the date? Where have I been? What did I even do? And I just realized, like, holy shit, I am lost. I am in a haze right now. I am in another world. I'm literally not on planet Earth anymore. This is scary. And I just made the decision. My frequency changed, and then I just dropped everything. And then I got on the path, and then I got back to my grades and dedication then for the next 2 years, and just smashed everyone. Just smashed them all back to like what I was doing. So anyway, I did that, and then I got great paying work straight out of school, and then went and bought a house straight away and renovated that and to make a profit and all that sort of stuff. And then the global financial crisis happened in 2000. So then I had this house, and then the market crashed. And then from there too, I started day trading, and I borrowed all this money on top of the house, and I was day trading. But then at this time, I started smoking heaps of weed again, and just being a gluttonous fiend, and just being delusional in my head. And then in a nutshell, I knew it was coming, but then over a period of time, that's when it all collapsed. And that put me in that situation that you described at the start of this podcast, where I was forced to change. And here's one thing that's very important. The reason I was able to pull myself out of that is because I had, number one, I had mentors and role models. That is the biggest thing. And number two, I was so blessed to have such a strong, driven father. My dad is the big thing that pulled me out of that, and he always has. I mean, the world we live in today, the father is made out to be some asshole because they were uninitiated themselves. You know, they didn't have the proper guidance or role model. You know, it's everything's your responsibility, but it's not necessarily your fault. I mean, we all get all this. We're born into the world, and the civilization does it to us, but then we end up doing it to ourselves. So you don't blame, like, if a lab rat, right? A lab rat gets born into a lab and then gets all these things, terrible things done to it. It's not the rat's fault. And anyway, it's just a perception we have about them. And it's the same thing goes with any situation in life. So anyway, long story short, I just had that good strong role models and good guidance and good wisdom and just strong work ethic, and just went to work. I just went to hard work, working like for my dad and with all the other lads in the town, just pouring concrete, going hard. And at first, it's like, because it's a dirty job, it's a hard job, especially in the thermonuclear heat of North Queensland. I mean, I know where you are, it'd get pretty damn hot as well. So at first, I hated it. Why am I doing this? Why me? But it had all of these unforeseen consequences, all these side effects that forever changed me. What happened was that I was able to live in the old world with real men. These men didn't know anything about the internet. These men didn't know anything about social media or cyberspace or what was happening, some injustice on the other side of the planet or any of this gobbledygook identity crisis shit that everyone has to deal with now. They didn't know any of this stuff. They were just old school, real men that lived in the old world. And we're the last generation that will ever know what the old world was like, the real world, before our consciousnesses got uploaded and stolen into the cloud. And that's when the world went mad, because we lost ourselves. We lost our sense of identity and our sense of consciousness. And worse yet, we lost our base, our rooting in the three-dimensional physical plane, the surface of this earth. I mean, higher consciousness, higher spirit, the unified quantum field, all of that, the dimensions beyond what we can perceive with our limited senses, but that we can feel and experience with our higher levels of frequency. That's amazing. That's fantastic. Again, another paradox for you. You can only access that stuff through the physical plane.
Yes.
You can only access that based here in the physical reality. And that's what I learned from these guys. Strength, honor, self-possession, mastery, self-assuredness, pride. I mean, pride gets a bad rap. Fucking pride's a good thing. Be proud of yourself. If you're not proud of yourself, you're gonna have a hard life. And why aren't you proud of yourself? because you're not doing anything worth being proud of. I mean, that's why we have all this mental anguish and all this negative self-talk and self-loathing and self-hate. I mean, I had that stuff for years, and why was it? Why does your brain give yourself a hard time? Because it's true. It's true. You're not living up to that strength within. You're not following your heart. You're not following that internal compass. You're not doing what you were born to do. And that's why you're getting such a hard time. And that's what I learned from these men. They didn't have any problems with self-worth or self-esteem, or they didn't take shit from anybody because they were doing raw physical hard work. They were strong men and still are to this day. And like, it was an honor value based system. It didn't matter how sick you were. It didn't matter how hungover you were. It didn't matter how little sleep you'd had. It didn't matter how hot it is. It doesn't matter if you'd had no sleep, if you know what I'm saying. You had to turn up and deal with this concrete because it was a time bomb and it was going off now. And these men depended on you and you were depending on them. So you had trust and you had brotherhood. And that was the most amazing thing. And to this day, and you can't underestimate the power of real people in a real circumstance dealing with real things. That is the highest, best, strongest connection and the most fulfillment you'll ever have in your entire life.
Oh, I feel it. I feel it, Neal. Whew, I mean, you said everything. Like, I of course, I don't do hard work, but coming from your angle, looking at it through your lens, I understand what you're saying. Like, people in the, how do I say this? Like my dad works in a oil palm estate. So I growing up, I only see him like once a week. So my mother, again, traditional, my dad went to work, my mom is a housewife, and then so my dad was like, okay, education is key, so they studied. So very lucky growing up, not well off, but comfortable. So and my to echo what you said, my dad is also has been my both of them, but really my dad, because he has that ethos, that work ethic, that discipline. Like when you go to the estate, you don't see anything. I mean, now he's sometimes he goes into Facebook and then but before he'd be in bed by 9 and he'll wake up by 5 for the roster. And I'm like, when I ask him, like when I was a kid, like, oh, what do you do in the estate? Oh, this is, I'm like, that is so boring. But right now, I crave and I go to that. I'm training myself to be in that and to shut all the noises and just be in tune with myself. And it's a really fun, scary, rewarding journey so far for me.
Yeah. It is. It's fun, it's thrilling, because the ultimate thing is, it's like this, right? The universe spawns from a great expansive void, a void of silence, right? Comes into form through vibration.
Yeah.
The birthing, the creation, the assimilation, the disappearing, but the eternal silence is always there.
Yeah.
We're a universe inside a universe within our mind. We can't hear it because we have all this crap rattling around in our heads. But that eternal silence is always there. And the reason it's scary is because you're scared of that silence. It's like if you go to talk to someone and people are anxious to talk to someone because they're afraid they'll run out of things to say, or I won't say the right thing.
Yeah.
Mate, it's silent anyway. The universe is silence anyway. What are you worried?
Anyway, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why are you worried?
With silence.
It started with silence, so and it ends with silence. So why are you worried about saying the right thing? What you say doesn't matter. The question is, can you hear it? Can you hear the silence? Another paradox.
That's a good one.
Another paradox. If you can hear the silence, you can hear the silence, you can hear everything.
Everything, yeah.
And that's why you're afraid, because ultimately you're afraid of yourself. That's what it is. We're afraid of letting go of our identities. We're afraid of being wrong. We're afraid of fear itself, because we have these judgments about experiences and emotions, and we're afraid that we think our thoughts or what flashes through our mind, we think that's us. That's not you. That is not you. Your thoughts are not you. That's just the thought stream. It's just the thought stream. It's just the universe. It's just the resonator transmitting information eternally, universally. That's all it is. Not every thought is beautiful until experienced. Because here's the thing. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind the thoughts. The fact is that we don't see the thoughts and we don't hear them. We don't actually truly hear them. They come along and we just jump straight into them. We think, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no, I feel bad now. Oh, a negative thought. I don't want a negative thought. It's not a negative thought. That's just your judgment about it. That's just your judgment about it. And then the worst part is you go, oh, I shouldn't be feeling that thought, so I need to control my thoughts.
Yeah.
Then you become the self-help manager, which is even worse because then you lock into another identity. And then it just becomes this keep linking on process. And it never ends. That's why people get addicted to self-help, because they form an identity. Because here's the thing, right? There's you as you are, and then there's your true, ultimate, powerful self. The whole journey of uncovering. There's two identities you can have. There's you, and there's your highest self. The problem is we invent a third character in between. And the third character is the first one trying to fix themselves up to get to that point. And then you'll forever be stuck trying to fix things, and you'll never be able to let go of your thoughts about yourself, because you aren't your thoughts. You'll think that they are, and it's really so simple. It's so simple, but it's deep, and that's why, because it's hard. The mind, we always want to understand things rationally, going back to intuition and that. The problem is with the rational mind is that what we're trying to figure out here is not rational. The rational mind always wants more information. It always wants to go wider on things.
Yes.
I need to know more. I need to know more.
I need to know more in order for me to make the next decision. In order for me to
What you want to do is, when you tap into intuition, you don't need any more information. You don't go wide. You start to go deep.
I love that. I had another epiphany yesterday, because I'm training, I'm graduating to become a therapist, so I am in practice with some of my friends and some of the other students. So yesterday, I think 2 days ago, her story was kind of heavy, so I'd sort of somehow taken that energy with me, and then woke up on Sunday feeling like, okay, why am I like this? Why am I feeling this way? And then I figured out, okay, perhaps it's because I've somehow taken a bit of whatever that I was trying. Perhaps I was trying to put myself in her position. So I felt it, and then all these thoughts in my head, like, what if I take on all of my future clients and I act this way, and I don't want to do it anymore. And I said, okay, your thoughts are not you. You're gonna be fine. You probably just need you've been tired this week, just rest, and then get back up again, because that was yesterday. And then today I said, because you've got 2 interviews coming up, so just rest. And today I spoke to just before you, I spoke to one person. I was feeling fantastic, Neal, and like right now, like you, I am this type of conversation fills me up, because I feel like I'm aligned. So
it's an energy thing. Talking to that person yesterday, you're up here, they're down there. One of two things is going to happen. Exactly. You're going to go down, or they're going to come up.
That's
your job, especially as someone who's trying to help people, or just doing your work, is to stay up here. That is what you have to do. Otherwise, boom. Boom.
And I felt so drained. Like, what the heck happened?
What happened?
I didn't even go out. I didn't even go out. So I was on my bed, and I'm like, okay, you know what? My thoughts, no, let it go. Come back. And today I'm here.
That's it. You are not your thoughts, mate. You are not your thoughts.
Yes. All right, Neal, thank you for that. So, what is your daily process? What does your day-to-day look like?
My day-to-day, I do the exact same thing at the exact same time every single day. And why is that? Because regimentation and structure. Because we're always going to get monkey wrenches thrown into our life. We're always going to get, the thought stream is going to bring whatever it brings. The whole idea is to have a regime, so that no matter what's going on in your life, you can revert to your disciplines, and that will keep your frequency high. Because you're always going to be stacking wins. You're always going to be stacking W's from start to finish throughout the day. And that's going to put you in that high frequency, that high resonation, and that's going to make your day work good. If you start the day crappy, you're going to have a crappy day. You're going to attract crappy things, and you're going to be a crappy person. But you start off the day with those high energy yielding disciplines, and the quantum field will just take care of it for you. I mean, that's just how it is. So I mean, it really is basic. Again, you build your frequency through physical activities. You know what I mean? It's not profound. It's not profound stuff. It's like like your dad.
I get it.
Really, and here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. It's so simple. It's so basic, but it's deep, and people overlook the depth of it. Oh, I know that. Yeah, I tried that and it worked. No, you didn't. You didn't try it for long enough, and you know why it didn't work? Because you're not doing it. You can't tell me it didn't work the day that you did it. It only stopped working because you stopped working. I mean, you got to earn this shit. You don't just. It's not like it's like a subscription. You got to keep paying, and you got to pay daily, hourly, by the minute, by the moment. You have to pay. We want the universe to open up to us, but we don't open up to the universe. We want to manifest all this crap, but we don't want to put it. We don't want to lift a finger. We just want to sit there and meditate.
We don't want to put our energy out there. So
and it's like no wonder things don't happen for you. It's like it's so simple.
Oh,
it's like if you can just step back and have a quick look. It's so obvious. Everything is so obvious and so simple because you don't have to worry. You don't have the burden of creation. All you have to do is just move with speed and move with clarity. You just got to do the work. And that doesn't mean like, how am I going to make this happen? You just have to move with whichever direction you're being drawn to take. And here's the thing. It's never going to look like the way you think it's going to look like. But it's going to end up the way that you wanted. Yeah. It's not going to look the way that you wanted it to look, but it's going to end up the way that you wanted it to end up.
I think I used to be victim of that as well. And to be honest, as long as I'm alive, I will have that kind of moments as well. But I think having that awareness that, okay, I have a direction, but I could take A, B, or S, or T route. I'm still going to get there.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah. There's two ways. I mean, we all have goals. We all want our goals. We want a physical manifestation, or do we want God? Or the universe, the higher power, sacred consciousness, this sacred moment. That's what it is. It's all in this present moment right now. Anything, everything, the entire field of existence, universal power, awareness, connection is in this present moment right now. Here's the irony though. You can't go to that moment. You can't go to God for your goals. You can only go to God for God. That's it. But the paradox is when you go to God for God, you end up getting your goals.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't go to God for your goals.
Through your goals, yes. Oh, God.
But you'll get your goals if you go there for God. Because in the end, you don't even need the goals. You don't need them.
Yeah, you don't need
them.
Yeah.
Of course you want them. You do want them. You can't lie about that.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. But you don't need them. And when you don't need them, they just turn up. And they're going to turn up not the way that you think they're going to turn up either. Because you don't have the burden of creation. All you have to do is be in that high resonance, that high vibration. And here's a good way for people to conceptualize that and to lock that in. We want all this stuff. We want all these things. We want all these external items. We want all this matter. It doesn't mean anything because guess what? You can't own any of it because the earth owns the earth. The only thing that you ever own,
we're going to return with nothing.
That's it. The only thing we ever own is our body and our physical presence. That's it. So that's the only thing you can put maximum effort into. I mean, the only thing that is yours is what's in your immediate vicinity, what you can strap to your body, what you can hold in your hand. And even then, you don't own that. It's just in your possession.
Yeah.
But you can never, ever let go of a part of your body. You can never be without a part of your body. So you own it. Even though it is being driven by the higher source, that is something that you take everywhere with you. Your character, your spirit, your level of mental strength, your physical prowess. And that's why we have so much problem in the world and so much, why we need so many therapists is because everyone's stuck in their head trying to use the mind to address the mind. And the best way is through the body. And the reason we have all these head problems is because it's an overload, an overstimulation of static interference, from the data stream. We don't have physical prowess. We don't have basic physiology of either self-defense or the ability to traverse this three-dimensional plane effectively. We can't run down the street. We can't jump. We can't do a handstand. We can't hop, skip, or jump. You know what I mean? It's like, of course you're going to feel like shit. But the mind is a derivative of the brain organ. And the brain organ relies on nutrients, the right building blocks, and it relies on the symbionts of all the other organs in the body that power it, right? So if we're lacking nutrition, if we have a polluted, toxic body, not toxic in the sense of some character trait from Hollywood, I mean toxic in the sense of heavy metal poisoning, ineffective hormone regulation, contamination, of course your mind isn't going to work properly because the brain organ that it's derived from is deficient. It's ineffective. It's damaged. So when you clean up your nutrition, when you get fit and healthy, everything else sorts itself out. And we want results in life. That's the problem when we attach to our goals, is we want that result. We want that thing to happen. The thing isn't going to make you happy. What really makes you happy is your feeling, your frequency in this present moment. And you can access that feeling right now, immediately. Anytime. Drop on the floor, do 100 burpees and tell me you don't feel like a champion. Go and climb a rock. Go and, swim down a creek or something. Do something physical that required exerted force and the overcoming of inertia in your mind, and you're going to feel amazing. You might not look amazing, but you feel amazing. And that's the end result. That is the result that you're ultimately after. And you don't, that's not something that's going to be 3 years down the track because you've worked hard and made this big grand master plan happen. It happened right now is because you took action. You took action. Right now, in this present moment. You've got the result immediately.
And then whatever comes after it, it's bonus is because you're doing it and you're aligning it to what you're supposed to do.
That's it. And there's the next moment and the next moment.
Yeah, next moment, yeah.
And as you do that, then your energy will elevate. And as your energy elevates, it'll feed back and it'll just compound and it'll take care of itself.
Yeah. Whoa, beautiful. Thank you, Neal. So, what is your ultimate goal? What is your life's task?
The ultimate goal is to build the nation and to build the future. Now, you and I are the nation. Each one of us, every single human being, we are our own individual entity. The macrocosm is reflected in the microcosm. Every organization, every civilization, every military hierarchy, every business, every primitive tribe, every charity, every organization, everything to do with a group of human beings is every system is a reflection of a singular human being. All of the systems within a human being is reflected in the outside world in all of those structures. So that's why I called my book A Unified Man, Building a Nation from Within, is because the human body, a country, a nation, is a reflection of a single human being. Your consciousness itself, your experiential seat of awareness, the housing in the center of your skull, that is the leader, that is the president, that is the incumbent. That must be clear, direct, and have solid purpose in where it needs to go and what its purpose is in this life. The mind is like the government. It's like the keys to power. It's like the web of influence. I mean, you look at any Senate, there's a bunch of all these people squabbling. No wonder nothing gets done. It's the same like our heads. We've got all this ping-pong static interference going on. You need rational, objective awareness of what the hell is rattling around in your head so you can actually start to bring all these voices into alignment and start to actually see clearly and actually use your mind with concentrated effort so that there can be an agenda, there can be an outcome, and you can put all those forces to work on the body. Now, the body is all of the terrain. It's all of the internal resources. It's the infrastructure. It's your own military. I mean, that's why physical prowess is so important, because each one of us is a one-man army. Because, I mean, real violence isn't cool. There's nothing cool about violence, right? Violence is rubbish. But violence is what gives us stability. Violence is what provides us comfort. The reason we're able to sit here and have this conversation without fear is because we've outsourced the threat of violence to the police and to the military. I mean, that's why we can have this. I mean, it's not beautiful. It's not gloriful. I mean, look at anybody who's ever served in the military. It's disgusting. But
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. I mean, that's the way it is. Take away the police force and the military, and guess what? You better get prepared, and you better get prepared right now. So all of these things are a reflection of a singular human being. And that's why I called it Building a Nation from Within, because it's all about developing that character, that prowess, that self-control, and that elevation, and that clarity. Because once you get that physical prowess, and then you get that clarity of mind, once they come into alignment, then you can begin to step back and really start to operate from that seat of awareness, that seat of attention, and start to view your mind rather than live through your mind. Because and then from there, then you can actually start to access your genius, which leads into the future. So it's building a nation from within and in control of your internal territory. Now, from there, that's how we can build the future. And we build the future by completing step 1 and then accessing our genius. Every single one of us has a unique gift, a unique perception, a unique contribution to this planet, to our species, to all life forms and organisms on this earth. Every one of us, all of us as conscious, humanoids, we all have something that we can access. That's why we're all here. So that's the future. The future is a time that is better and different than now. I mean, the replication of the systems that are currently in used by this globalized civilization, they're destructive. They'll consume us. They'll destroy us all in the end. I mean, we'll be fine. Don't worry. Life will go on.
Yeah.
But, it won't be pretty. I mean, we're in a critical juncture. We're in the most critical point in all human history that ever was and ever will be, because we're on the point of technocratic ascension. It's like there's the way things were before, and then there's the digital cybernetic future that's coming. The world I see, the world that we're here to build, is the holistic hybrid industrial world. Now, what does that mean? It means taking the ways of the ancients, taking the ways of our ancestors, taking the ways of spirit and merging that with the highest use of form. Developing powerful technologies that actually are aligned with the natural preservation of this planet. And not all that sustainability garbage that the New World Order is trying to ram down our throat. I mean true ways of doing things. And that doesn't necessarily mean high complicated technology. It just means clever, more ingenious ways of harnessing the resources that we have available. So merging all of that together, one person at a time. Because here's the thing. We build this world 3 ways. We build it individually by building ourselves. We build it autonomously by building ourselves, because we've found our mission and we've found our purpose and we've found our drive. And we build it collectively because we are all doing our own part, building our own world by ourselves, and well, not by ourselves, but with others. And when we all do that, we're doing that collectively as a species. There's no need for some central guidance. We've changed the paradigm or the frame, the lens of operation, the mode of operation that we're all living by. And ultimately it boils down to this: elevating the standards that are adhered to. What do we look up to? What do we idolize? What do we want to be like? I mean, there ain't too many good role models out there if you switch on a television. That's why people like you and me exist, because we show what's actually supposed to be happening, what a human being is supposed to be doing. Because here's the thing. That first part of building yourself, that isn't that miraculous. I mean, it's a big process. It's a massive process, but only if you view it like that. It is what's necessary. That's the way I view it. Yeah. Because I want to know myself. I want to be powerful.
Yeah.
We all want to be powerful.
You want to be stepping into our own true power.
That's it. That's the goal. That's the goal. And I'll leave you with this. The meaning of life. You're going to love this. I can tell you the meaning of life right now. And how do I know that? Look at life itself. I mean, just look at the grass, look at the trees, look at the frogs and the birds and the bees. Every single one of them, what is their meaning? Why is it there? Well, there is no meaning. It's just beautiful.
Just to live, yeah.
Just to live. Life doesn't need a meaning or a reason to live. It's just living. Human beings are the only animals.
You're supposed to be being. You're not supposed to be human doing.
Exactly. Human beings are the only organism that ever gives up. No other organism ever gives up.
That's so
We're the
true.
only life form.
That is so true. Yeah.
So what's the purpose? And why do we give up? And I'll tell you why we give up is because we're not aligned with the purpose of life. The meaning of life doesn't have an answer, but, pardon me, the purpose of life does have a definitive answer. And again, you look at life itself. What does every single organism do? Every single organism grows as big and as strong and as powerful and as prolific and as influential as it possibly can. I mean, how big does a tree grow? As big as it possibly can. What's the purpose of life? The purpose of life is growth. And that's why we aren't happy, because we're not growing. And that's why we kill ourselves, is because we're decaying, we're dying, we're not growing. If you just grow, everything will take care of itself.
Ooh, that is so. I have another question for you.
Sure.
I think, I don't know. Everything that you said it's the holy grail of everything. That's why people like you, the people like you and I, and all the other people that are on the same boat. That's why I said we're doing it. The world is waking up, and it's awakening step by step. Like even if it's like you said, life will still go on, but that ripple we start today with ourselves. Yeah.
100%.
All right. Okay, Neal, if you could create a quote right now for you to leave to the audience listening and the world as your legacy, what would it be?
So many come to mind. There's a part of me that says, nothing, because there's nothing to say anyway. Because it's all already been said. I mean, everything I'm saying here, it's like there's nothing new under the sun. I mean, that's really what it is. There's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
But we need to, all the answers are within, but you need someone from without to show them. And that's why we exist, is because all the answers are within, but you need someone from without to show you. Because here's the problem. We're always looking out. We're looking.
Yeah.
We're always looking. We're looking. Where are the answers? Well, why can't you see them? There's two reasons. Number one, you can't see them because they're behind your eyes. That's why you can't see them out there. And number two, you can't see them with your eyes anyway. Because it looks cool. That's why. I mean, look at it. It's awesome. It's not mine.
It's a scarpin tail, right?
Yeah. Basically, it symbolizes everything that we're doing here is going against the grain, not following the story that you were given at birth, not following the story that was always told to you, because that story is someone else's story. It ain't your story. That's the story that we're here to tell, is your story, not someone else's. Be that story, live that story, create that story.
Perfect. Neal, thank you so much. You are doing wonderful work with yourself, and we're all a community. We're all in this together. And I just want to express my gratitude for being who you are.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for having me. And here's the thing. It's like, when you align, it does it for you. I mean, half of the things I say here, like, it's not me. It's like my book. I didn't write my book. My book was an accident. I only meant to write 5 or 10 pages. And then Source took over and it wrote the book. Same thing. So, that's a whole other story, though. But anyway.
Well,
it was a pleasure.
This was fun. I'd love to have you for another episode.
Yeah, no worries. Sounds good.
All right, Neal, thank you so much. We're connected on the social media, so once this airs, I will tag you.
Yeah, no worries. And everybody else out there, just follow me on Instagram at Neal Fisher. You can see it there, NealFisher. Or go on my website, theunifiedman.com.au. And if you just want to have a chat, just hit me up on Instagram. We can talk. I mean, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
We really are. I mean, and we're all people.
All connected.
Here's the thing. We're all connected, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not as different as you think. We all have our unique genius, our unique contribution, our unique personality. But at the baseline, the ultimate end of the day, we're all part of the same species. We're all pretty much the same,
We
and
came
that's a
from
good
the
thing.
same source. Yeah, of course.
And that's a good thing. It means I get
That's
you
the best
and you get me.
thing.
That's the best thing.
Yes.
I feel what you feel. I know how
Exactly.
you feel, and you know how I feel. So
What a way to close the conversation. Thank you, Neal. You have a great rest of your day.
I
Take
promise.
care. Okay. All right.